RC, I want to talk about the Bills, but let's let you look for the Steelers. This was kind of cratering, right? I mean, look, the Bills, awesome. What more can you say? They were ridiculous. But this was really a new low. What can we say about it?
I said last week that it was going to get worse for the Steelers. I said it was going to be extremely bad. And it wasn't because of Kenny Pickett or it wasn't because of Mitchell Trubisky. It was because of everything else, right? And the one thing that we always gave the Pittsburgh Steelers credit for was fighting. This team didn't fight. The only player on this team that I'd take in 2008 to go down an alley with me is the young kid that's playing quarterback.
Yeah.
He's the only one that wanted some yesterday. Cam Hayward, to me, is a future Hall of Famer. Minkah Fitzpatrick, one of the best playing the game. I am in no way saying that those men didn't want to win. What I'm saying is, from the outside looking in, only one dude strained the entire day, and it was the quarterback. And I can say this, he is my favorite football coach in the world. This starts with Coach Tomlin. You no longer have a Hall of Fame quarterback. You no longer have better players than the other team. You have to have this team ready to play. This team, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I want this team to look like the Detroit Lions do most weeks, right? I don't believe they're good enough to go out and beat good football teams. But every morning, except for this week against the New England Patriots, we come in and we say about the Detroit Lions, but they fought, right? They made it a game. They didn't give up. This team gave up. This team wasn't playing anymore. It wasn't important enough for them to go out and have pride in the way they approach the game. And that's a problem. When you know you don't have what it takes on paper, you got to go out and do something else. That's what winners do. This team didn't play like winners.
Right now, our FPI, our analytics project the Steelers who have the first pick in the draft. That's where...
Guess what? Can't get a quarterback. You know why? We drafted Kenny Pickett at 20.
When you see former Steeler alumni like Ryan Clark saying basically the same stuff that I have been saying in my videos, that's how you know that I am right. And that's how you know that you geniuses should be paying more attention to this channel. Because, like he said, the only player on this team, the team that he would take down the alley to 2008 to play with him, is Kenny Pickett. And of course, I think George Pickens deserves to be added in there too. But other than that, I don't think anybody else on this team has any business being there. Now, yeah, I can understand why you would say Cam Hayward and Minkah Fitzpatrick. But for the most part, this team is just a fat pile of shit. It's plain and simple. So last season, when we had that loss to the Vikings, Ryan Clark said it best about Chase Claypool. For as developed as he is physically, he's that underdeveloped mentally and emotionally. And now, of course, he said it best with our blowout loss to the Bills. He said that it was going to get even worse for us, much like I did. And guess what? Me and Ryan Clark were right. So now, he said that the team gave up. Like, if that doesn't go to show you that that our front office, like, if that doesn't go to show you that wholesale changes need to be made with this team, then I don't know what does. Because when you see a bum like Arthur Malott, one of the worst players on the team, ranting about players laughing on the sidelines while we're getting our shit kicked in by Buffalo, like, that's how you know that it's really fucking bad. Because this is the major problem with this team. This team needs leaders of men. This team does not have much of that at all. Bill Cowher's teams, his players were leaders of men. This team has almost none of that. Like, name me one player on this team. Now, yeah, you know, I'm impressed with Kenny Pickett, but I usually don't like to call rookies leaders just yet. But I do think Kenny Pickett down the road can be considered. He could end up being a leader on this team. And of course, I mean, he is the best thing we got right now. But name me a player besides Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, and maybe Minkah Fitzpatrick that can be considered leaders of men. I'll wait. Because this team, outside of maybe one or two players, 3 at the absolute most, has none of that. This team has 0 leaders of men. And I think, in my opinion, this is being a very overlooked problem. Because when a backup corner has to come out and rant about our players laughing and giggling on the sidelines, hey, we're gonna get blown out 38-3. Like, do you not see a problem in that? Because you would think that somebody like Cam Hayward or TJ Watt, had he not been hurt in week 1, would say something about that. But when nobody outside of a backup corner, a garbage player, has to come out and call players out on that, that is a gigantic problem. And this is why we are where we're at now, sitting at 1-4. We're one of the worst teams in the NFL. We're probably the worst team in the AFC. We are pretty much outclassed by almost every team in the NFL based off of talent, coaching, ownership, etc., etc. And I'm telling you, like, it's gonna be a long time till this team is great again, truth be told. I mean, yeah, I'll be hyping up Kenny Pickett here and there, because, you know, a new part of my fandom is knowing what it's like to have a young quarterback. But of course, I can only make so much fun of that when this team is certified garbage right now. And then for the casuals out there, let me tell you, if Trubisky played against the Bills, we would get shut the fuck out. Like, I doubt our offense would have even had any more than 2 first downs. Okay? So and chances are we probably would have suffered our worst loss in the franchise's history since perhaps the 1989 loss to the Browns, 51-0. And I mean, I'm telling you, like when Ryan Clark, a former Steeler, a guy that was not soft like the bitches on our team right now, back when he played, when he's coming out and saying the same stuff that I am and any realistic Steelers fan out there is saying, that is how you know that content creators that are Steelers fans like me tell it better than anybody. Better than the media. Better than all these other... especially better than all the homers in our fan base that act like this team has the best talent since sliced bread. Because let's face it, this team is not as talented as many of us think. It really isn't. I mean, because like we don't have a true number 1 receiver. We don't have a number 1 corner. I mean, hell, we barely even have a number 2 corner right now. Our defensive line is old and washed. I mean, yeah, our O-line's been playing better than we thought, but even there, that still has holes. And of course, we suffered an injury to Pat Freiermuth, which is, you know, just when you think it couldn't get worse, it gets worse from there. Our linebackers outside of Miles Jack are pure utter garbage, and that's excluding the injured TJ Watt, by the way. I mean, this team's awful. I mean, this team has very little talent, and this is on our complacent front office for not getting out of its complacent ways in order to keep up with today's NFL. So not only is this team far less talented than people think, it's pretty clear that the Steelers locker room needs a voice. And we need that voice be saying the stuff that Ryan Clark is. Because if Tomlin is gonna let players laugh on the sidelines, and hell, this goes back to our blowout loss to the Bengals last year, 41-10. Players were laughing on the sidelines there. Where is the culture? Where is the leadership? Where is the chemistry? Where is, where is that team pedigree? Where is it? It just doesn't exist with this team anymore. And it starts to make you question, does this team even care anymore? I mean, we got our ass beat by Buffalo, couldn't even score a touchdown. We had just 2 players that even showed any kind of effort in that game at all, Kenny Pickett and George Pickens. And when Ryan Clark comes out and says that the only player on this team that he'd take back down the alley in 2008 to play with him is Kenny Pickett, and of course I think George Pickens should be included in that too. I mean, this all goes back to what I've been saying in my post-game video from when we lost to Buffalo. Rather than the casuals who think that this is all on Kenny Pickett. You see, what Ryan Clark says should tell you the major difference between realistic Steelers fans like me and all the bunch of homers out there that think that Kenny Pickett was the problem in that game. Because you cannot blame it on Pickett. He did everything he could to get us back in that game, but the rest of the team besides George Pickens let him down. And what Ryan Clark said should tell you that, that should put the end to any possible argument from some of the homers that have said that I am biased towards Kenny Pickett. Especially because I even admitted, for as solid of a game that he played, the one interception that he threw was a bad throw, and that was his fault. He'll have to do better. It's just a rookie mistake, but I'm not going to crucify him for it, like I've been doing Trubisky. So there it is. Ryan Clark is spot on with this team once again, and I am out.